Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you presenting today too?
Yep.
Yeah. And then you guys both want to use this laptop?
Yeah, we can.
It should be fine. All right, cool. And let me get a, should be, I might just think it's like asleep.
That's the workout come up here.
I know, I was checking my heart rate from coming up, that I got up to 138 beats per minute. Okay. So it's not dead. I thought it was. Nope. Cool. So you guys can, whoever wants to go first, you can fight over it.
What was our department?
We have this way and then Chrome. So
I sent it to you. Can you pull it up from school?
let's see here. Did you send it in?
The submission thing?
Is it from your email or you? So like, what's the last? How do you spell your last name?
Stevenson.
All right, let's go here. What time did you do it at?
It was like last week.
What, so like November, there's 12. 11. That one?
That's a discussion.
I'm sure it's in here. Is that?
There is.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, and then you're gonna write your final paper on the same thing too, I guess. Okay. Because I noticed it's submitted in this one, which is fine. You can probably do.
Oh, paper there too?
You could probably put the paper in here too. Or, cool, okay. That works. So yeah, however you want to do it, like.
Where did you submit it at?
It's probably, so I've made it a discussion and that way everybody can see it, if that makes sense. It's like a discussion board.
You want me to sit down this?
Yeah, you can, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll grab a notebook too. That way.
What discussion? It said final paper. That's what I submitted. I'm out of breath. I'm tired. It is some today. I tried with this presentation. If I'm gonna get me. I'm gonna tweak my little old paper up a little bit.
You can go now. I'll just like get. Does it look like you're at least on the videos?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll go, which ways? That looks good. Okay, cool. Those chairs aren't comfortable, are they? All right, cool.
Okay, so I did my PowerPoint on foster care. So foster care is when a minor has been placed into a ward, group home, or private home of a state certified caregiver, referred to as a foster parent or with a family member approved by the state. So this is a chart of why kids are removed from their homes. The top 3 reasons are because of their family are neglecting them, there's drug abuse, or caretaker inability to cope.
Oh, wow, that 62 is neglect.
Mm-hmm.
Drug abuse is 36. Come on, okay.
And
Wow.
14% for caretaker inability.
That is sad.
Mm-hmm. And then I did the 3 types of systems that the kid can be sent to. One is kinship care, when care of children is through their close relatives or their close family. During kinship care, they usually have better contact with their parents since their parents are close related to the family or the relatives. Then non-related kin, which is more traditional. It's when you go to a random foster family or a foster home. where you know nobody. And then treatment foster care, it's 24/7 support that seeks deep levels of care. So if you have development issues, depression, or poor social skills, that's the type of treatment you would go to for that type of foster care. And then I made my own chart called the SSA that social workers go through when they go to foster homes. So they supervise, they assess, and they support. And then supervising is basically when they do check-ins on the child to make sure they ask how they're doing, they examine the home, make sure nothing is incorrect, and they basically just make sure everything in the home is up to T. And then they support the child by making sure the minor understands that everything is going to be fine, and they offer care services, like if they're going through depression or anything else they need. They basically just help one cope. And then they assess by offering advice and giving access to services to the foster child. And then that's my citations.
They're from this year, that's awesome. So I probably told you guys at Lighthouse Youth Services for a long time, and we would have to visit some of the foster care homes, like when they can't get placed right away, they'll sometimes go into the big homes until they find a family that places them. And the drug addiction is just sad because it's also kind of nobody's fault. It is like a disease, and then it's also frustrating because the kids really just want their parents.
They can't help.
They just, yeah, so hopefully they get rehab and they're temporarily placed, and then the kids could go back to mom and dad. Or if they're incarcerated, they just get like a 1-year placement and can go back to mom and dad. That still causes a lot of challenges and, you know, stuff like that. Any questions about like foster care or trauma-informed care or stuff like that?
So when you go into foster care, I want you going to, when you try to do foster care, how long will it take for you to be able to do that?
If you got your BSW and your LSW, they would hire you right when you finish college. If that's what you're asking.
Yes, I want to do foster care.
Yeah, and then if you get your MSW, you can supervise the folks that are in charge of it. You can go in a lot of times with an associate's degree, which is 2 years of college. So you can do case management. Sometimes you might, just like they have an RA in the dorms here, you would be like the house supervisor or like the adult, the independent adult.
So like Mr. Fry?
What's that?
So like Mr. Fry, that's what he is basically?
I think so. Who is Mr. Friday? I don't know if
He's like over housing.
oh, is he the director of dorm housing here?
Yeah, I think so.
So it would be something like that. For example, Lighthouse has a homeless shelter for 13 to 17-year-olds, and they also have a homeless shelter for 18 to 24-year-olds. So obviously 13 to 17 is kind of like a foster age, and they'll hire people that are with a college, with a high school, or even the associate's degree. So you could get a job even this summer and do stuff like that. You apply at Lighthouse or, you know, and then prepare yourself because it's not the easiest work, but it's rewarding. And it's not going to pay the most, but it's rewards and you learn a lot from it. So, or you can do your internship there like next year or senior year.
Yeah, I could do like a Lighthouse too. It is right there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're on 401 East McMillan is the main building. Then on Jefferson, they have one. Like right by, you know, Clifton.
Yep, I knew it was right by Don. Is it close to Don?
I think, oh yeah, because that's the school that Lighthouse also services.
Oh, I know.
So Lighthouse is like the counselors in charge at, is it DOHN Community School? I never pronounce it right. So
Yep,
I don't
it's
know.
Don.
Okay. I never got that. I'm like, how is that Don? And why did these emails? Oh. So my job is, on the weekends, is sitting at hospice. And apparently, after tomorrow night, we need to have like there's a curfew or something.
Yeah, I heard it's a person now.
So we gotta have a sheet to go out, like if we're going to the hospital to sit with somebody who's dying, we have like, it says I work for hospice. Here's my sheet, here's my papers. So they're blowing us up. I'm like, why are all these emails coming through? There must be like something because of that mandate. They're sending us all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Anyway. Any other questions? Oh, you might have to touch that. Yeah, there you go. That should work. And these are good citations to use in your paper, like you could do quotes from it, or, and you guys really have like a few weeks to get that done, so. Final paper,
Beginning of December?
pretty much, yeah. I don't even know when our semester ends. I know that sounds terrible, but I feel like it ends at a different time than last year.
Yep.
Did you have me in the first semester last year, or second semester?
First semester.
Okay, because that's when I got married.
Yeah, my next semester, I don't know who these people are.
They might be adjuncts.
I got Carla D. Allen.
Oh, Charla Allen is our director of social work right now.
Are we supposed to take an ethics class?
There usually is ethics, yes.
So it's normal to take that?
I would say it's probably mandatory.
Okay.
What's it called though? Ethics and social work?
Racial ethics?
What kind of ethics?
Racial ethics?
Really? Is it a social work class?
Yeah, I think my schedule is all.
Because that sounds like an elective, but it might be. I mean, so I have to do ethics every 2 years too. So yes, you'll do ethics for the rest of your life. Because things come up and people struggle and we're all human, so we just gotta be held accountable and stuff, you know? So,
Who is, do you know who is Jacqueline Griffin?
is it a social work professor?
Yep, social work and healthcare services.
There's only 3 full-time professors, me and Edley Speaks and Dr. Charlotte Allen.
Oh yeah, I got them late then. I got the Jacqueline, then I got John Seabach. I got them at 5:45 to 8 something.
Another social work professor. So that means they're probably working a full-time social work job and they come in at night to teach.
It's so late for 3 hours.
Yeah, but they might do a hybrid again, like what I do. Like this class is supposed to meet 6 hours a week or whatever it is, and I put as much of the content online as I can. So it'll probably be online. I'm just glad we're able to get you guys school and get you graduated on time, because there's a need for workers right now, you know what I mean? Like they're hiring people everywhere. And the MSW programs, were you gonna do your MSW too? Take a year off or do something?
I'm gonna take them.
Yeah, I would say just go right through as you start it in June and you finish in May.
Yep.
And you're done. You're like, you are a master social worker at that point. I don't think I have any other questions for you. Do you have questions for us about the whole process and therapeutic foster care, trauma-informed care with it, stuff like that? Okay, cool. That works. I can't believe how cold it got last night too.
Freezing.
It was like 26 degrees. Do both of you guys live in dorms too?
Yeah, we're roommates.
Is it freezing in the dorms or too hot in the dorms?
It's normal.
Because like our rooms get too hot and we gotta open all the windows and stuff sometimes. Did you all choose to be roommates or was that after
After I just selected it.
were you randomly selected as social work roommates? And you both chose social work? Really? Is that weird?
Yeah, I was thinking in my head, like, how do you know that?
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess they could put social work majors together, but I don't think they do that, do they? That was just a random, that's kind of cool though.
Random.
You guys get to hammer through life together for the rest of your life. Are you from the same state too?
No,
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, okay. Pittsburgh. That's pretty close though too, isn't it? I know it sounds,
It takes me 5 hours, you know.
they really wanted me to work at a job in Steubenville, Ohio, and it's like on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. And Franciscan University wanted to double my pay to get me to come out there, but I said no.
you got to move.
I know, and that's the thing, both of our families are in Cincinnati.
You got to move. That's like 6. How long? That's a lot of drive.
It's, so you can buy a house there for $25,000. So we were thinking of just having two houses, but then we're like, no, I mean, I like our mission here and I like having both our families there and like my wife can stay home with the kid and take online classes. So we found out it's a boy, so we'll have a boy and a girl 11 months apart.
So you're pregnant again?
Yeah. It's my fault again.
You said one baby, I got another one now.
Yeah, we got a boy and a girl 11 months apart.
Okay. You was ready to get back.
I'm 43 when the baby will be born, so I'll be an old man.
Yeah, you gotta get them while you can.
Yeah.
So I did my presentation on poverty. So basically, poverty is where you're not meeting enough to basically fulfill the basic life needs. And it's like you have little support to support yourself and the people who's behind you. So like your family, your kids, and everybody. Poverty is measured into two reports: the official poverty measure and the supplemental poverty measure. The OPM is based on cash resources, and the SPM takes into account the non-cash government benefits and expenses. So like medical expenses, childcare expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So some causes of poverty is unemployment, the corona, that really took a hit on poverty,
Mm-hmm.
Income inequality, natural disasters, your location, physical disability, and much more. There are a lot of stereotypes about poverty because sometimes when you end up on poverty, it's not exactly your fault.
Mm-hmm.
So people say like they don't value education, they're lazy, they're on welfare too long, they're ineffective and initiative parents, they're substance abusers, etc. So who is affected? Everybody's affected. Kids, young adults, older people. But for now, I read that right now that kids, they're more likely in poverty more than adults right now.
Yeah, a lot of that is correct, and because kids can't like just go out and file for food stamps or go get a job and pull themselves out of poverty. Like if their mom's in poverty, then they're in poverty.
Yep. And it's like when the parents are in poverty, then the kid has to go out and sacrifice and forget about their education and have to go get a job and supply for the adults.
You do see that sometimes, which is very sad. Yeah.
So the people in poverty, so the poverty rates right now for service workers is 10.7. For women is 14.5. Hispanics and Latinos is 19.4. Children under 5 is 20.2. Non-citizen immigrants is 20.4. African Americans is 23%. The unemployed is 30.4%, and American Indians and Alaska Natives is 25.4%. And that's from 2020.
Yeah, the Native Americans are just like, they're reservations and everything everywhere. There's a very high rate of poverty.
Yeah, especially in like other countries that don't have a lot of resources like we do, their poverty rate is higher than ours.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a percentage of the people in poverty for the United States and Puerto Rico for 2018. As you can see, it's a mixture between the purple and the blue.
The South is the worst, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the worst.
Wow.
All the way over here, it's down bad.
Mm-hmm. New Mexico has a lot of Native American reservations.
Yeah, I can't believe these two are white though.
That,
What states are these?
Utah has a lot of Mormons living there, and Colorado, yeah, Colorado has a lot of mountain towns, so it's a low population. And same with Utah, it's like way up in the cold, snowy mountains, so there's not big cities. I would say the ones with big cities and Appalachia, the Appalachian community, which is like Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, even Pennsylvania is part of the Appalachian Mountain Range, but they look better off than New York and West Virginia.
So as of right now, the people in poverty is 29.3 million. That's a big number. And according to the 2020 poverty projections, between February and May of this year, an estimated of 14% of working Americans lost their jobs because of the corona.
There's 40 million people, yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And then it would have been higher if we didn't have all the policies like the SNAP policies or the stimulus checks.
Mhm.
It would have been 12.4% more higher.
Did you guys get those mailed to you? Or do your
My mama
parents?
claimed me.
Your parents took them?
Yeah, she claimed me, so I didn't get no money. I was hurt.
Did your parents take them?
Mm-mm.
You got it?
School check. School check?
Oh, you could apply to the school check.
Oh yeah, I
right?
got the school check, but not the
That's it,
stimulus.
Was that like just cash money? Did they for real give you like $1,000?
Yep, they gave that.
Okay,
I was surprised. It took a minute though,
like
two-
May or June, you got it at the end of the semester?
I got it in like July.
After the semester?
Way after.
At least you got it. I mean, that's, okay, all right. Do you know how much money they printed this year?
No.
So, you know what our US budget is, right? It's like 17 trillion a year we take in for taxes.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
And then, so we printed $3.5 trillion this year. Like our stimulus bill was $3.5 trillion.
Just stimulus alone.
Just the stimulus stuff. So we might do it again, and that could affect the inflation that is coming soon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard it was gonna be another round of it somewhere.
I know. It's nice to get the check, but then when you see everything double in price because you got the check, I'd rather have the cheaper prices.
Yep, I'll say get the check. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, especially if your parents are going to take it. You're like, don't take it.
Yeah. And then social workers, they make sure to better situation and environment. They try to provide you the best basic human needs for food, shelter, and clothing. So they can like offer shelter for you, find food pantries, daycare, transportation, anything you need to try to help you outside of poverty.
Mm-hmm. That's like the case management that we do. So,
Then my references, it was messing me up, and then it started to irritate me after a while.
it is hard, yeah. Oh, because of the Google Scholar stuff too.
Yeah, I was trying to like scoot it over to make it look like this and everything, but
Right.
it didn't work. And I'm like, oh my God.
So luckily, I'm not really a stickler on that, but like definitely learn how to do it and get them off Google Scholar if you can. Some teachers, like, that's all the points they take off. They're like, oh, the references are banned. Oh, I just want you guys to learn how to do it.
So other teachers, they mostly like us to use Google Scholar instead of any other references.
So what Google Scholar really is just like a search engine that will get all of the social work journals. So it's, and you can hit quote off of it, so it'll do APA for you sometimes. That's the nice part of it.
Cause these new teachers I got, they gonna hit me, cause I don't know.
Right. Well, I see what you're saying. Like if you use the Google Scholar, they'll, just ask. Like the key is to ask and then say, how do you want it done? And then can you show me how you want it done? And can you look at this before I turn it? You'd be fine. As long as you just keep harassing them with that. Right? Half the world's children are poor. Where's that one from? If you click on that, where does that take you to at the very bottom? That's sad. That's like
Where they
Brookings
have.
Institute.
Yep.
Was that 2010 or 2020? Okay. My birthday in 2019.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep, more than half of them.
It is tricky to quote the web pages, but if you go to Google Scholar and did like social work journal articles on poverty, it would pull you up some articles, which would be a lot easier to quote. These, I don't even know how to quote these web pages.
Yeah, these is hard.
Yeah. You can go to like Purdue Owl and we'll show you how to quote them. And you believe that many people live off of less than $2 a day?
I don't believe that.
It's weird to think of, but only reason I know is last year we went with Miami University and visited India, and I've also gone to Central America and Nicaragua. And it's mostly because the value of the US dollar is much stronger in other countries. So you could, the average salary in Nicaragua, when I last looked, was $400 per year.
400 per year, that's it? Can live off of that.
So the US dollar is, it's strange to explain how money systems work, but it's because we're the world reserve currency that we're worth the most amount right now. But if that ever changed and people started not taking the US dollar, like Russia and China, the value of our dollar could go way down. So that's why sometimes I feel like it's better to have assets and food and water and shelter and land instead of a bunch of greenbacks stacked up in your bank account. Like that's why I'd rather have like resources, if that makes sense. Because money, it doesn't, is kind of it's a promissory note. It's like I promise, it's actually a debt-based system. So it's fun to have a lot of money, but it's also a piece of paper. So it's like, what do you actually do with the money? You want to buy something physical, like a car to help you get to your job, or like a truck to help you farm your vegetables. So it's a weird way of thinking. This year made it really strong in my mind that having a US dollar is not the best thing in the world, because they just can print them. They literally print off the printing press, like throwing them out there. It's crazy, like a money gun.
They've been making fake money. It looks so real now.
Really?
It looks so real, especially on Amazon.
Really? They sell it on Amazon?
Yes.
That's hilarious. And that's why they do that dollar mark when they take your money sometimes. I believe it, yeah. I mean, I heard they're putting little like microchips inside the dollars there too.
I heard that too.
So, yeah, you're right. A big thing we can do as social workers is be the case manager and connect them with food pantries or parish nurses or a church food pantry, and just getting your clients into a system where then they can hopefully get education and empower themselves to take care of themselves. So, you all have any questions for any of this poverty stuff? This one is dear to my heart because I lived in Central America in 1999, 2000. I moved into Over the Rhine in 2001. I lived downtown, and that was a different place than it is now. In 2001, Over the Rhine was way different. All of our food pantries were down there, all of our social service organizations. Free Store Food Bank is still down there, St. John's Social Service. Now it's kind of been gentrified, and it's really fancy housing and bars. And
Well, I don't really go for that.
Over the Rhine is a little different, and that's our inner city part of Cincinnati. You guys have one like that in Pittsburgh?
Inner part?
Like the rough part of the city?
Yeah, on the south side.
Is that what they call, is it like the south side of Chicago, or is the south side of Pittsburgh?
I don't know, baby.
Right, I heard the south side of Chicago is pretty, we went there 2 years ago with Miami University, too, saw some of their programs. So, yeah, our key goals here is to empower our clients and our students to, eventually move on up in the world so we can get out of poverty and help each other, really. So, cool. I do not have anything else for you guys unless if you have questions about the final paper that people would want to listen to. Perfect timing for that to show up.
No, I don't have any questions. But with the paper, I know since I'm doing poverty, so you said I can do a whole paper about poverty, and then add in about the theories. Don't you say?
Yeah, like human behavior theory or even ecological theory, which looks at the holistic parts of poverty, like the person and the environment they grew up in. Is it hard to get a job if you lived in Over the Rhine your whole life compared to if you lived in Green Township or whatever it's called up there in Coleraine? Is it harder to get work down there? That's some of those theories. So yeah, following the theories, which you're allowed to do a search on those for too. As long as you use one or two theories, you're 1 or 2 social work theories. And that would be it. This can be your your professional, your expertise piece in social work for the rest of your social work career. People pay a lot to get up-to-date information on poverty and the statistics and how to solve the problem. Because we still haven't solved it, like we always throw solutions at it, but nothing is ever permanently solved. So, and foster care, same thing, like how can we have a better foster care system and how can we serve our foster clients best. So, but that's all I've got. I know y'all are going home soon, right?
Yep.
Are you leaving like this weekend, or you guys stay until Tuesday and then you're gonna go?
I'm trying to leave on Sunday.
Okay. As soon or as late as you can. I don't know if that's. Are you leaving this weekend too?
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're getting ready to go. And then what's the day you come back?
January 18th is the first day of classes.
So they're not doing it online for the first 2 or 3 weeks again, like they were last.
So far, no.
Okay.
I don't even know the schedule for next semester.
Yeah, I know. Well, is everything online, or do they have you in rooms with people?
All mine are in person. They won't let me take them online.